Blue Haven Public School uses evidence-based practices to ensure that each teacher has a deep knowledge of each student in their classes. In this initiative, student engagement, achievement and wellbeing have increased significantly along with community engagement. I will now introduce Paul Mcdermott, Principal from Blue Haven Public School, to come and speak with us this afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have a mantra at Blue Haven Public School that every child matters every day, and that typifies why we turn up to work every day and reminds us of those important little people that we work with day in and day out. Our context, we are a school on the Central Coast. We are complex. We've got about 580 students. We've got a FOE of 140, and we have undergone significant change over the last 2 years. In 2017, when we set about to create a new vision for our school, we engaged all stakeholders. It was students, it was parents, and it was teachers as well. So when we wrote our vision, it was high-performing, positive, inclusive, well-being and success. Our kids own that vision. They contributed to the words that went into it. It's communicated clearly, it's in every room in the school, it's articulated, and we come back to it regularly. So our students are very heavily invested in where we're travelling as a school, and they know the purpose for why they turn up to school every day, which is very, very important. When we look at our strategic directions, the first commitment that we make to our students is that we're going to provide a very first-class education to every single one of them. The way that we do that is to make sure that we have a culture of high expectations. That starts with the school uniform, it starts with their bookwork, the way that we speak to each other, the way that we communicate, and the way that we engage with everyone within our school. We use evidence-based approaches, and we don't make any apologies for that. We're not here to experiment with our children's education. We're going to do what works, and we're going to make a commitment to our students to make sure that there's evidence to support everything that we do with them in the classroom, and we're not going to be drawn into emerging disruptive trends as well. As a result of that, our signature pedagogy is explicit instruction. It's a gradual release model where students are supported through their learning journey and they experience success at every stage of their learning. We have very high levels of formative assessment throughout all of our lessons. We give feedback at the point of error. Our students are constantly kept on track with their learning through that formative assessment, and we make sure that our students and our teachers know exactly where all of our kids are at every point in the learning journey. We have very high degrees of collective efficacy. Our learning environments are predictable, they're safe, and the students know where to next. We have a whole school approach to professional development. We work collectively, we work collaboratively, and we work very closely together to make sure that every student in our school is known by all of the staff and that we're all committed to supporting their learning journey from the minute they come into school, at the beginning of kindergarten for most of them, until they graduate and move on to high school at the end of Year 6. We have instructional leaders throughout the school that work hand in hand with our teachers and support them to provide the best possible learning experiences for their student, and that coaching works very, very successfully throughout our school. We also intervene early. We spend about $150,000. We spend about $150,000 a year on speech and occupational therapy just on our infants' children alone. So all of our children are screened when they come into school in kindergarten, and for any students that require ongoing therapy, that's provided by the school as well. The impact that has had across our school has been enormous. In 2016, out of just over 2,200 schools, we were in the bottom 100 schools. In just over 2 years, we're now proud to say we're in the top 150 schools. That result is really impressive. We've exceeded our Premier's priorities as well by over 10%. And while those results are super impressive, the most impressive thing for us is that our kids believe in themselves now. They know that they're champions, and we tell them they're champions every day and celebrate the success that they have, because that's their results. Yes, we work hard with them, but that's our students' results. We also support wellbeing very strongly, and one of the things I love about turning up to work every day at Blue Haven is that we do know how to have fun. The school needs to be an exciting place for our schools, and for some of our students, it's the only safe place they know. So we're always out the front of the school providing valet service in the mornings for the children to get out of the cars and come safely into school. As you can see, quite regularly we'll chuck our silly suits on as well to make it even more fun. And we have some kids that live only 2 blocks from school that ask their parents to drive them to school so that we can let them out of the cars every day and give them a high five as they come into the school. We do self-fund a deputy principal to look after wellbeing in the school, to make sure that communication is really clear with our community, that our systems are strong, that we have consistency, and that our processes support our students' behaviour to be as positive as possible so that it doesn't impact on their learning. One of the ways that we do that, particularly around the playground, is to make sure that our students have structured play initiatives at lunchtime. It's optional, but our kids have the choice to choose to go to a safe environment and play a refereed game, and that's an opportunity for them to make new friends, for them to learn to resolve conflict in the safe support, working with a teacher or an SLSO. One of the great things that we do well at Blue Haven as well is to provide positive rewards for our students. You'll see in the top right up here, we have an attendance award every single day for our students. So if our students are in line, by the time the bell goes in the morning, it scrolls through a photo of every child in the school and it stops on one child 1 minute after the bell goes, and then our Wheel of Fortune goes off, and that child will receive PBL rewards, they'll receive a photo on a Harley if they're lucky enough, they'll get lunch with the principal. There's a whole range of awards that they can win, but what a great positive way to celebrate attendance instead of harping on the negative. In addition to that, we have Donny's Diner, which is a breakfast club. We served over 10,000 slices of toast last year at Donny's Diner, and we also have an early birds learning program at our school where over 4,000 hours of additional learning took place just in 2018 alone. So it's literacy and numeracy support. All of our intervention children are personally invited to come along, but it is optional for all other children to come along. And we have our Year 6 kids that are initiated as owls to help that learning happening for the younger kids as well. And we have on average about 50 kids a day turning up to early birds, which is another very successful program in our school. Our culture is everything at Blue Haven. We work very closely with our community to get the very best we can for all of our students. Our community engagement is authentic. We have open classrooms where the parents get to come in and actually see what's happening in the learning environment. And we also have some wonderful initiatives for parents to come into the school. Last year we had an initiative called Bridging Blue Haven where over 400 parents came into the school and got to connect with interagency support. So lots of kids going up saying, "Mum or Dad, please come and meet the person that I do Seasons for Growth with," or the IRIS program. So some wonderful connections happening in our school and something that we're looking to continue to expand well into the future. We're very system oriented. We've had over 300 different educators visit our school over the last 2 years to see the good things taking place. And similarly, we like to learn off people that are doing good things as well. So we visit high performing schools in our state and interstate as well. Our cultural connections are very strong. All of our Aboriginal students receive a didgeridoo, all of our boys in Year 3. They learn to play the didgeridoo during the time they're at our school, and in Year 6 they receive that as a graduation present from our school. I've run out of time, so if you want to know any more, please contact our school. We're more than happy to share what we're doing. We're really proud of the success and we're really proud of our kids. We're continuing to be committed to make sure every child matters every day and to have as much fun in the process as we possibly can. Thank you.
Well, Paul's given me a very hard job. At the beginning of each of the talks, I thought I will gather something for those of you that have seen the website and seen the resources under every student is known, valued and cared for. And the resources are great. If you go into your portal, you can find them. There's 9 domains that sit underneath there. And I thought if I find something from one of the domains, I'll mention it when I come up to the front. Unfortunately, I'd find one and then Paul would say another one, and he crossed off all 9 of the domains. So, I mean, it made me just want to go to Blue Haven. So congratulations, Paul. What a fantastic job.